Hey everybody, this is the PixelBlips podcast, E3 2014 edition for Nintendo. Nintendo's press conference.
Online digital event or whatever it was.
Yeah, their product reel, extended sizzle reel. That's what we'll call it.
Yeah, because I mean, it was a lot of, hey, here's a whole bunch of stuff, but because it's not a live stage show, we don't know if
it's much more controlled.
Yeah, they could show us what they want to show us without any hopes of, or without any risk of crashes.
They don't deal with the crickets or the boos.
Yeah.
Or,
Yep.
So we started with Smash.
Well, yeah, we came in a couple minutes late because we were like, holy crap, it started. Because we were watching on his PS4, and it was like, there's DS stuff on your PS4. I bet that's the Nintendo thing.
Yep.
But yeah, we came in, and they were talking about Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. It's more Smash Bros.
Yeah, Super Smash Bros.
Not much you can say about that.
This always happens with Nintendo franchises. Everyone says the latest one is the best, and then a year and a half later, we kind of sit down and say, no, that sucked.
No, it's still not as good as
we're gonna go back
the original
to
or the GameCube one or the Wii one or whatever. Yeah.
So I have a feeling that everyone's gonna say this is the newest, greatest Smash ever. And
I mean,
it's gonna go. It's not Melee.
It's definitely the best looking, but that's not saying much.
And Mega Man
and
Sonic.
You have Mega Man and Sonic, and they had a new reveal like close to the end of their press conference where they were talking about
the goddess from Kid Icarus.
Yeah, and then Dark
Pit.
Dark Pit. Yeah. So
Pit, the hero of Kid Icarus.
There's an evil version of him, and I don't know if they're separate characters or if it's just a skin change. I don't know if he was already announced or not.
They showed some really cool anime cutscenes for Super Smash. I like
that.
Yeah,
so I wonder if they're going to have like a story mode for each character, and that'd be like a Street Fighter style story mode.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
And then everybody has their own ending.
But they didn't say that. No,
they didn't say that. That was just speculation.
So next up was the near field communication stuff.
Yep. So all your Wii U pads have like this little section that has an NFC card or reader in it. And they're going to start coming out with their own version of Skylanders.
Called Amiibo.
Yeah.
A-M-I-I, because you got to use the double I.
Yep. Yep.
And apparently it will save your Super Smash profile and your Mario Kart profile on it.
So you can,
you can take it to a friend's house, scan it in there, and
then they'll have your ghosts and whatever. And that seems like that's kind of cool.
That's cool.
You don't have to. It's like having a memory card, but you're not going to lose your awesome little figure, whereas you're more likely to lose a memory card.
It'll also work with Skylanders, they said, and with Disney Infinity.
Yep.
So you don't need to buy a base for those games now, which is cool.
Yeah, which is nice. Because those bases, especially if you're hopping from one to another, you can just import all your character data over. Like one console to another. So that's kind of neat.
They talked a lot about their history, about like the feeling that playing their games give you. They showed off a lot of GameCube era stuff and a lot of Super Nintendo era stuff.
Yep.
To try and remember the heydays.
Yeah.
It's weird that the GameCube era stuff showed up.
Well, I mean, the GameCube was probably one of their more.
I think at the moment the GameCube's probably outselling the Wii U, but
yeah. Well, that's not saying much. But it's. There is that nostalgia, right? Like, guys our age grew up on the NES, the Super NES, and the Genesis, and the Master System. And, and a little bit older than us, you have the Atari and the, ColecoVision and Intellivision and all that stuff. So.
They did a cool callback to that with their new Mario Maker, which is not coming until 2015. Which when you see it, you're like, why is that 2015?
Maybe they're tweaking on it pretty good. But it kind of looks like Mario Paint, except you get to make your own Mario levels.
The interface is reminiscent of Mario Paint, and then what you're actually painting is an 8-bit Super Mario Bros. Level that can then be redone and rendered, reskinned into the new Super Mario Wii U version.
And and I don't know if like the 8-bit one is the old style or if you can play it in either.
I don't know if you can switch with that thing.
You may not be able to switch them on the fly, but then you can be like, I want to see what this looks like, and then it'll just pop it over to the new Mario Wii U thing, and then you can pop it back over, or whatever.
But they didn't talk a lot about it.
No,
they just kind of showed you it, and they showed some cool stuff like the skinny mushroom, making him tall and skinny.
Yeah, which I can't imagine there's a lot of use for that, but maybe there is somewhere. Maybe they added like half-sized blocks that you can only get past if they're tiny. Skinny.
Who knows?
It seems really cool. Like that's kind of cool. I think that's a Wii U thing though, because you know, why not?
Next up, they showed the Toad game, which you were really excited for.
I like Toad. Toad is probably...
My reply was, oh, this is Nintendo's Fez.
Yeah, and it totally looks like Fez.
It takes place on
like a 3D...
2D planes on a 3D column, so you're kind of continuing...
Yeah, it looks really, really kind of cool. I think it plays more off of...
And they showed gamepad integration with it.
Yeah.
Which is something they hadn't shown a lot of.
No. Which...
Up to that point.
Which kind of bummed me out. Like, that's the key feature of that system, right? Like, is having that gamepad with that screen and all the cool stuff you can do with that. And really, they only showed it on that. And a little bit on another game that they show off later. But
I think that coming out of this E3 digital conference, is what we'll call it.
Yeah.
If you had hopes that they were going to get rid of the gamepad and sell the Wii U for $199, I don't think that's a fool's hope.
That's not going to happen. Like they have it, like their entire game ecosystem is predicated around every one of these systems has one of these pads.
Yeah, their games. They're still developing games with gamepad integration, and
and
they showed off like this new, which is kind of funny, this new third-person shooter called Splatoon,
which out of Nintendo is
shooter ever.
Yeah, like it is the silly. It's not silly necessarily, but it's like. It's a first-person shooter, and it's kind of like, or a third-person shooter, in which you have to paint the entire map, whatever color you want, and you have to like take out the other players. Mm-hmm. And they came up with some really interesting mechanics where,
and like the gamepad will display the map in real time with how much of the level is painted, what's still free,
and then
where your team is.
And then when you respawn, you can like click on your teammate, and you'll like rocket out of your spot and then land on top of your teammate or next to your teammate where you can get back to the action.
Which is something I really wish they would do in PlanetSide 2 with some Vita integration.
Yeah, that would be
really get in my team, damn it.
And it seems like it's a really neat game. Like, you know, they have like 2 different modes. They have, you know, person mode where you can shoot and run and take out the enemy.
Slower.
And you're a little bit slower, and if you run through the enemy's goop or the enemy's ink, then you are super slow. But then, when you could jump into squid mode, you can like haul ass around the map and
crawl up walls
and do all kinds of cool stuff. And it seems like it is.
It was fun. It was really fun.
If Nintendo was going to make a third-person shooter that wasn't Metroid, this is probably the best thing they could have ever made. And that looks really, really interesting.
Yeah, it's one of those games, like a lot of Nintendo's press conference, that if I had had a Wii U, I would definitely buy.
Mm-hmm. But it's not going to make you want to buy a Wii U.
It's not going to make you want to buy a Wii U.
It was, but you know.
Then they showed off X, which is apparently now the Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Yeah.
Every time I see something from Monolith Soft, I just go, oh, if only you were on a PlayStation platform.
If only it was on another platform.
If only you had the space to actually do, the space and the power to actually do what you want to do in cinematics. Like.
Well, I mean, I don't know what the size of the discs are for the Wii, but they're or the Wii U. They're like a little bit bigger than DVDs. Is that the?
I think they're as big as a single layer Blu-ray.
So 25 gigs?
Mm-hmm.
That's not too bad then. That's still a lot more space than even most PC games take right now.
True.
So, you know, it's not like we're pushing the limits of Blu-ray yet. Well, I mean, you were for certain games, but not a lot.
So, let's see. So, Xenoblade Chronicles X, they showed Bayonetta 2.
Yeah, well, did they show Bayonetta 2?
Or the trailer?
They showed a trailer for Bayonetta 2.
They showed a trailer for a lot of things. No gameplay. Well, obviously no live gameplay.
No, obviously no game. But they did show...
Splatoon had gameplay in it.
Mm-hmm. And they had the guys talking about it.
The new Kirby game, the new Yoshi game, and the new Toad game. I saw
yeah, the new Yoshi game is built in the same engine as Kirby's Epic Yarn.
Yes, but like bigger, like the next iteration of that.
Yeah, and it looks really cute. Like it looks more like more Yoshi Island almost. And I
like Yoshi Island and Kirby's Epic Yarn have a baby.
Yeah, and it looks cool.
It's another one of those things like it makes me wish Nintendo didn't only make games for Nintendo consoles.
Well, you know, they're never going to sell those IPs.
If someone gifted me a Wii U, I would go out and buy things like Splatoon. And
the totally.
Super Mario
if I could get a Wii U for under $200, I would buy one.
Kirby, the new Kirby, the claymation Kirby.
And the claymation Kirby. I had never seen the previous iteration of this game.
Yeah, the
you had seen it, but you're like drawing lines, and Kirby just goes, and you just have to direct him with lines.
Draw the ramp, the rainbow ramp,
or whatever it is. But it's all claymated, which is really cool.
Yeah, more gamepad integration. So once again, if you're hoping the big reveal was going to be a Wii U without the gamepad, sorry.
They did have some weird. They had like weird robot chicken bits in the middle of stuff, and it was like in a coffee room or in the break room at Nintendo with all the characters.
Well, I think Nintendo's trying.
They're trying to capture a Western audience, I guess.
I guess that's good for Nintendo that they're trying things because that's what they need to do. But they seem the robot chicken stuff especially made it seem more like they were flailing to try and like they're drowning and they're trying to grab onto anything around them.
Yeah.
Then like they're something like Microsoft
actually
is doing,
trying,
which is like consciously going out after things, adapting their product, like making thoughtful steps. Nintendo just seems like they're flailing
a little bit. Yeah. I don't know. It was weird. There was some funny bits. Like we missed the first one, obviously.
Yeah, I like Bowser talking to Peach.
He's like, I'm sorry for kidnapping you all the time, but is it still cool if I have the last donut?
And she like eats it and stares at
walks away. And then the little Mac.
Little Mac's always good to see. Who was he paired with? Star Fox?
Star Fox and Little Mac, yeah. And he's like, you always wear those gloves? He's like, yes, I always wear those gloves. I'm a grown man. I do whatever I want. He pours coffee all over himself.
It's like crying.
And it was silly. But, I mean, whatever. Nintendo's trying real hard.
And they're leaning on the nostalgia a lot.
They are.
There's obviously nothing new to show for the new Zelda. So they just kind of...
They gave us...
They're like, remember Wind Waker? And remember Link to the Past? And remember all these things? And now we're going to make a big one that's Skyrim, and you'll be able to walk wherever you want. But we're not going to show you that. It's not ready. Because that's our idea.
They showed us
and you're going to be able to take on puzzles from any angle.
They showed us what is similar to the tech demo they showed off last year or the year before. The year before at E3. Where you have Link, and you have him in this big world, and then all of a sudden this thing just attacks you. Like, they showed the guy sitting there for like 5 minutes, and he's like, here you go! And then it's just, you see the grass blowing in the wind, and it was obviously done in real time at some point, or somebody pre-rendered it really, really well, but it doesn't actually show gameplay. It shows kind of the art style they're going for, and the size of the world that they want to present us with to run around in. But yeah, I think you're right. It's going to be like Legend of Zelda Skyrim, which is great, because that is more Legend of Zelda than the Legend of Zelda Heroes of Hyrule game that they're showing us, or whatever it is.
That was the next thing they showed, the Hyrule Warriors.
Yeah, the what is it, Dynasty Warriors clone in the Zelda universe.
Which is interesting to see, and it's always good to see Zelda actually, like...
Out kicking ass. And they had a character from, it was Skyward Sword,
They had one from Skyward Sword and one from Twilight Princess.
They had...
I forgot.
And then, of course, they had Link. And then they have Zelda. And they probably are going to have a couple of more that they'll show off later. I'm going to guess...
I imagine 2015, holiday 2015, when the new Legend of Zelda comes out, it'll be coupled with a price cut for the Wii U. That's when most of us will buy it.
Yeah, it'll be a $250 bundle with the Wii U.
Yeah.
And that would be the time to do it. And that... They're still only making the...
But when they showed the stuff up, I was like, you know what? The problem with me and Zelda is it's getting to be like the problem with me and Sonic.
Mm-hmm.
Is that they show a new one, and I'm so excited for it, and then I play it, and I don't like it.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it's been with me for Sonic for a while.
So the last... For Zelda
honestly,
Ocarina.
The last Sonic I liked, though, was Sonic Adventure. And you have your misgivings about it or whatever, but... I liked Sonic Adventure for what it was, and I did rebuy it on the PS3, but I didn't buy Sonic Adventure 2 because apparently I'm an idiot. But
so then they showed off the new Pokemon.
Yeah, they showed off the new was it?
Which is always cool.
Omega Ruby or something.
No. I always feel like Pokemon is the new Madden in the way
it comes out like every year.
In the way that like it's just iteration. It's a roster update. It's more Pokemon. If you were getting into Pokemon now, this is the Pokemon you buy.
Yeah.
And go forward from here.
Yeah. I mean, there's some merit like to playing Red and Blue on the Game Boy.
Mm-hmm.
But if you go back and play those games now, like if you started with X and Y and you try to go back and play those, you're gonna be like, well, where's all of this, and this? Which I assume it is the same game. It's just they have more monster types and a ton of new monsters. Like they've got to be pushing 1,000 at this point.
They changed it. But also, like, the weirdest thing about this was Reggie didn't seem enthused.
Well, he wasn't in front of a live crowd.
I know, he was
He was in.
You know, we're used to Nintendo being the fun place.
Yeah.
Where like fun happens.
Yeah.
And no one seemed like they were having fun.
I think the fun Reggie stuff was when they had him claymated and him and Mario were doing stuff. And I guess there was a joke that we missed early about Mario Ballerina. And then somebody made the joke of, "Where's Star Fox?" And Reggie blew his head up with eye lasers.
Yeah. It was very weird. Nothing from Metroid, which I was really pulling for the new 3DS game that we're going to discuss, being Metroid Fusion 3DS or Metroid Prime Portable.
Yeah, something like that, but nothing there.
Nothing.
So we didn't.
It was overall it was very lackluster. Like
it was pretty meh.
They trotted out a lot like Xbox. They trotted out games that we would want to play, but they did not make us want the system. Like
they didn't make us want the system this year. They're gonna make us want the system next year.
I want to play Splatoon. I want to play the new Zelda. I want to, I would like to play the Yoshi Woolly World. I don't want to spend that money to buy a Wii U
just for one of those games this year. Now, if I could get all three of those games and a Wii U for $350, that'd be great. But
I don't think Nintendo did anything to change the.
I think they're still
the standings of the Wii U in gamers' eyes.
Yeah, they know where their moneymaker is. They know that the moneymaker is the DS.
Yeah.
Right now, and coming out with a new Nintendo game or a new Pokemon game this year is going to push sales. They're going to sell thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of copies of that game, even though they came out with X and Y like 6 months ago.
I feel like giving Nintendo a grade as a press conference is bad because I feel like they're not even they're not playing that.
They
game
took a
anymore.
different test.
Yeah, they're like we're gonna do our own thing, and their own thing isn't getting me excited. It's not making me want their product. It's not even really making me want their games. What's making me want their games is knowing that I've had a good time with all of the other Nintendo games that I already own.
Yeah, and
that you still I will probably also have a good time with, but they're not convincing me. Except for that Splatoon. Splatoon was really cool,
and that's a really neat
Yeah, I wanted that game really bad. Like I was like, this is
not
really
for
cool.
$250 plus the game.
Yes.
So $300 change.
So like it's weird. Nintendo's in this really weird spot, and I don't.
They're
not getting out of it. Like I remember thinking 2 E3s ago when they announced the Wii U and they closed it off with the fake fireworks, thinking, oh, this is just an off year for Nintendo because they're focusing on this launch of
new
this Wii
system.
U.
Yeah.
The next year when their big reveal was he had a cat suit, and it's how you play the game. We play the game to have fun, like all that crap.
Yeah.
I was like, this is really weird. They're on the wrong path. And like this year, I'm like, what are you guys doing? Like this is crunch time for the people who depend on you for their livelihood.
Yeah, and you're
just like phoning it in. Like,
I mean,
I would be surprised if Reggie quits
in the next 6 months. Yeah.
Yeah, because he doesn't seem like he cares.
Well, and they didn't show everything in their presser that they are doing at
E3.
At E3. Like
they have a new Star Fox.
They have a new Star Fox game.
And it's like
they didn't fucking show it. And I was so pissed.
They end the press conference with Shigeru Miyamoto clearly playing a Star Fox game
they
with the screen blurred out.
And you're like, you see,
you can totally like, we're not stupid, Nintendo. We're not like 4-year-olds sucking on Mama's teeth. Although you shouldn't be sucking on Mama's teeth.
If you're 4 years old, I'm gonna say.
Anyway, that's a little weird. What? But Nintendo, we're not babies. We know what, like, do you not remember the blurry graphics of the N64? We know what Star Fox looks like!
Like, yeah,
why don't you just give us Star Fox? He's playing it, and it's on the effing floor!
Yeah, they didn't...
what are you doing?!
They're doing time... I think they want to try to do a timed release for some of these games. They're doing Nintendo Treehouses all through
But that's the point. Nintendo is playing their own game, but they don't understand... Nintendo is playing a baseball game, right?
Yes.
Where you're a manager of a baseball team. You build your starting lineup. You think about where you're putting your people on the field. You put your center. You run at center field. All that stuff. What they don't understand is they're on an effing football stadium.
They're playing
and
soccer.
Everyone else is playing football.
Yeah, no.
And it's like, What are you doing? You can't score a goal that way.
You can't hit the ball with
Like,
your hands.
they're like, I bet they're really thinking like, oh, tomorrow we're gonna do this big reveal of the Star Fox game, even though Time is already talking about Star Fox, Forbes is already talking about Star Fox, Kotaku's already everyone's talking about Star Fox, and what they're saying is, why isn't Nintendo talking about Star Fox?
It's pretty, like, that was the most disappointing and frustrating thing we've seen this year.
Like, I thought, up until that point in the press conference, I thought, this isn't a good press conference, but I'm not mad.
They even...
It's not like last year where I was pissed.
They teased it so much. Like, they teased it at least once or twice in that meeting, or in that press kit thing. And then they don't even bother to say anything about it.
It's like they don't care. It's like when you
they think that
when you're
unless that game comes out this year. That game has to come out this year. If that's why they're holding it so close, it would almost have to.
Even if they were like, even if tonight they were like, new Star Fox drops this fall, I would still be like, great.
Why didn't you tell us about it? If you told us about it,
everyone was looking at you. Why didn't you talk to us?
Yes. The camera. Everybody was watching your thing. Why didn't you say, "Hey, new Star Fox, show us his trailer. Show us something, not just Duder with the thing all blurred out,
horribly blurred out in the background.
As it would come, like you'd see it as it got to the edge.
That pissed me off. That made me never want to buy a Nintendo product again because clearly they don't care.
It's
even Shigeru Miyamoto ended it like this, and turned back around. It was like,
it's okay. So
we
will see more.
Meanwhile, on the other side of the spectrum, we have Broshida changing his Twitter icon to like a fan pic that someone drew of him as Rambo.
Well, he is kind of badass.
Like, Nintendo? You used to be the fun people. You used to be the place that we felt like we could go talk to.
And
if we went to Nintendo offices, it was a magical place. Now, I don't even know what you're doing. I don't even know who you're talking to. It's like you were an old lady with like dementia screaming at a cat in the middle of a park. What are you doing?
And it's sad to say, but Nintendo needs to figure it out and change their ways, or they won't be around in a couple of years.
Like, they have a huge war chest,
they have to
so they can
do something.
They can take multi-million-dollar losses for years. But the problem is, eventually investors are going to stop showing up.
Yeah.
They've already lost investors. Like, once the investors stop showing up, you don't have any new money coming in.
Because nobody's buying your home system.
Like,
I mean, yeah, you're showing off great games, but you don't have, they don't have third-party support.
Yeah, there was no third
Platinum
party.
Games is the only thing that wasn't a Nintendo.
It came out in a Ubisoft. That Ubisoft apparently has finished games on the shelf for the Wii U. They're just not releasing them because they can't make money off of it. Because the install base is so low.
Yeah.
What are you... Oh my god, everyone is screaming at Nintendo. Something is wrong, guys! The house is on fire!
And you're in the basement.
To get out of the house!
It's not... House is on fire. It's not a tornado. You need to get out of the house and stay
the house is on fire. You need to do something that is going to stop the house from burning down. Either get out of it so you don't die, call the fire department, get a garden hose, run the kitchen sink, fill up a shower, do something to stop the house from burning down. Instead, it feels like Nintendo is baking a cake while the house burns around them. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're making this... I'm sure the cake is excellent. I'm sure it is going to be one of the best cakes I've ever eaten.
But then we'd have to dig it out of the rubble.
But we'd have to dig it out of the rubble and dust the ashes off of it, Nintendo. No. We don't want to do that. We definitely don't want to see a world without Nintendo.
That would be a very depressing place, because I think both you and I have agreed that if Nintendo ever goes away as a hardware manufacturer, we just won't ever see those games again.
No.
They won't go Sega and become a third-party developer or partner up with anybody. I mean, Sega's already kind of thrown their lot in with Nintendo, and it's not doing them very good.
Yeah.
The new Sonic games haven't sold very well because they're on a system that's not selling very well. And they're not very good.
It's so weird.
But,
Nintendo. My great for Nintendo is please pull your head out of your ass.
Please. If you have something that you want to show us, great.
Like they could be
Don't
sitting on,
tease
like,
it super freaking hard in
they
your
could be
thing
sitting on
and not say
Metroid
anything about it at all.
Prime, and like they're like, Andy, all these games you loved, Metroid Prime, you know, Star Fox, Fire Emblem, they're all coming to the Wii U this Christmas. Like, you guys don't give an F, why should I?
Exactly.
Like, at least, like, everyone, like, the new Sony guy with his hand motions, like, at least he was happy and enthused to be there.
Yeah, and yeah.
Like, Reggie
was all
here.
business. Here's information. Here's information. The guys that they interviewed, the developer guys, seemed like they were enjoying themselves.
Yes.
Especially the guys we're talking about
Splatoon.
Splatoon, because they were all just kind of hanging out. And they're like, "Yeah, you are really bad at this game. I'm sorry."
Yeah.
But you know, it's Nintendo. Please.
What are you doing?
Figure it out.
You're killing us. Is what you're doing.
Do something awesome. Like, make that Star Fox game come out this year. You made that Star Fox game come out before the end of calendar year 2014.
It doesn't matter. They don't talk about it. They don't care.
I've listened.
They don't view Star Fox as a bankable franchise. So they don't
even
care.
though it is. Like, it totally is.
They're like, whatever. You know, Star Fox.
It's not Mario or Zelda.
They're treating it like Sony treats like PSN like Wipeout. Like, there's a new PSN Wipeout. There you go.
Here you go. Well, and that game's alright.
But it's like, come on, what are you doing?
I know. Well,
so Nintendo, please bye.
We would give you a grade, but you have to play the same game as everybody else, so we can't do that.
Yeah, you wouldn't want the grade we would give you.
It would not be good. So,
like, if I were teaching that class, I would say you are in detention. You are staying afterwards, and we are going to have a very long talk.
You need a tutor so hard. So we will see you
That's
guys.
a 3-3. Bye.